What is going on YouTube? Tonight, we're going to go ahead and make this. This has been probably the next most requested feature you guys have asked for, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it because this video could get a little longer and I'm going to try to, condense it as much as I can like always. For today's video, we're going to use Unreal Engine 5.6 and you can get this for free from the Epic Game Store. If you don't know what Unreal Engine is, it's just a game engine, no big deal, and again, it's totally free. When you click launch for the first time, this screen may take a little bit before you get to the browser menu. That's totally normal the first time you load Unreal for the day. Every time you reboot your computer the first time, it kind of takes a little bit. Once loaded, you're going to come to the browser menu here and you're going to have this left side panel. Go ahead and click Games for Me and click on Blank Project. And this is where you're going to name your project. I'm going to name this Stinger because that's what we're going to make tonight. And this is where it's going to be saved. You could use your film and live events tab here, but I prefer the blank game project just because that's what I use to make games. So I know what I'm getting inside the project and what I'm not getting. Once loaded, this is what you're going to be met with. And if you've used Unreal before, go ahead and skip ahead to the timestamp where we begin the tutorial. If this is your first time, we should go over a couple things. For one, yours probably looks a little different. Your outliner's probably over here looking something like this, and this probably doesn't exist. So what you see in mine is just my preferred layout, and you can move these things by simply clicking and dragging the tab. So I like my outliner on the left side, and then I like to bring up my content drawer, which is right here, and keep it docked, which you can do by clicking this, and it'll keep it on your screen at all times. So the way this works just really quickly is your outliner here has a list of items, and everything you see listed here is inside your scene, which is the name of this middle window here. So if I were to click on landscape, you could see this giant mass is considered the landscape, and that's why it gave me a gizmo on it. In addition to that, you'll see on the left side here, the details panel populated with a bunch of things, and essentially these are all options of things I can change on the landscape itself. It's quite a bit. Don't let it overwhelm you, and don't worry, I'm only going to touch on the ones you need to know. As far as movement inside this world, as you right click and hold, you can look around. In addition, while holding down right click, if you hit WASD, you will move up, down, left, and right. And then your true up and down is Q and E. I'm sorry, back, forth, left, and right, and then up and down is Q and E. Other than that, the only thing you really need to know for this one is going to be right here, and that's your camera speed. If you move it up, you're going to go much faster, of course, and then you have the option to move it down. At some point, I'll probably be covering this with my head, but you will hear me say I'm adjusting my camera speed because it's going to be just necessary at times. All right, now let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new level. So go File, New Level right here, and give me a blank project. Go ahead and click Create on that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to save level as right away. And once you're in save level as, click Content, and we're going to right click right here, New Folder, and we're going to name this Maps. Right, go ahead and open Maps for me and give this name whatever you want. Mine's going to be Text Level because that's what we're going to do is we're going to make a text overlay. Click Save on that. And now this is our map, and we're currently in that map. You can always know what map you're in because it says it in the upper left corner. In addition to that, we're going to go into the editor preferences real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and go to appearance. And from appearance, we're going to change this line right here. It says default asset editor open location default. Click the drop down and change it to last docked window or main window. What this does is every time you open something, it will dock it at the top in a tab form instead of giving like a pop-up window. It's just a lot easier and smoother to work with. From there, we're also going to go to Project Settings. Inside Project Settings, I want you to go to Maps and Modes. And right here where it says Editor Startup Map, I want you to type the name of the level you just made. Mine's Text Level. And although you don't need it for this second one, I'm going to add it there as well. What this will change is every time, let's say the game crashes or you save and come back to this project, it'll load into this window and not into the original map you saw. With setup done, you're finally ready to get your hands dirty. And the way I'd like to start this is to try to visualize what you want this to look like at the end and then break it down into certain parts. So I know I'm going to want some 3D text. That means I'm going to need some kind of contrast background, some kind of props around it. In my mind, I'm going to use melee weapons. I know already some kind of props around it. And then I want there to be some kind of neon effects, some kind of visualizers to make it feel more alive, to make it pop more instead of just dull and boring. So knowing that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Epic Launcher again, and I'm going to go to the Fab Store, and I'm going to get the things I need. So I'm going to go ahead and find a background. So I'm going to go into the Fab Store, like I said, and I'm just going to search grassy landscape. And I'm going to go ahead and look around. Now, you can pay money if you want. It doesn't matter, and you can set the price here. I'm just going to look for free things because this is just a YouTube video for me, right? So I'm going to click free right there, and I'm going to go ahead and search around to find the one I want. Once you find what you want as your background, you're going to click add to project and it'll prompt you with this screen. So this is not compatible with 5.6, only 5.4. So I'm going to click show all projects and I'm going to scroll down to find my project, which is Stinger right here. And right where it says version, I'm going to change this to the latest version, which again, 5.4, and I'm going to click add to project. Now, this is what I'm going with. You don't have to pick this grass. You can pick a house. You can pick space. You can pick literally anything your imagination can think of. I'm just going to use grass as my background. As far as the weapons I'm going to use, I said melee weapons. I actually know I already own those. Why I own those? I don't know, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go ahead and search my own personal library here, and there they are right there. And these are the weapons I'm going to use for my project because I know they have some colors that really pop already. Now, I don't think this is free, but you're welcome to search for this on the store to see the price. I don't know why I own it. I've never used it in a project, but it's here, so I might as well use it. And if you're following along, you're like, well, I can't get that and I'm not spending money. The goal isn't to make the exact same thing as me. It's to learn the process and to make your own and have some creative freedom that fits your channel or your vibes altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my project as well. Again, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find my project right here, Stinger, and I'm going to click add to project. And I'll see you guys back in there when these downloads finish. Now that those things have been added to my project, we're ready to go back to the content folder here. And you can see they've added two more folders, our melee weapons and our map right here. So we're not going to go through everything in all these because we don't need to. And I don't want to overwhelm people or drag the video. So this is our maps right here, our background. We're going to click on this and we're going to go to maps and we're going to load their demo map real quick. And so this is the demo map. And mind you, I don't need much because it's the background that I'm going to be staring at essentially like this. So I want this on my real map. So what I'm going to end up doing is over here in the outliner, I'm just going to look for the items I need. I know I need the background here, so I'm turning it on and off, but there's clearly another layer over it, and I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably the foliage right above it, and it is. So this is the actual landscape, and this is the grass they added at the top of it. So I want both of these items, so I'm going to shift click them, right click, edit, and I'm going to, edit, and I'm going to go copy right here. From there, I'm going to go back to the maps where our text level is, double click that to open it. Once I'm in here on our outliner, I'm going to right click, edit, and I'm going to go ahead and just paste those in, and they're right here. The reason they look like this is because we're inside it. So let's just hit E and go up. And there we go. Now we have it inside our own level. We're not going to need this giant platform, so we're just going to go ahead and click that and delete it. The reason I had us load in the level with that is so we could have the clouds and the light and everything without us having to add it ourselves. So this is what we're going to use. Now, I could use it just like this, but I'm actually going to flip it and turn it up because I want to use it as a background like that instead of flat on the ground. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the way I want a sword to spin. So right now I'm going to click both these items and I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to turn mine up 90 degrees. You don't have to do this. It's just what I'm choosing to do. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a good look at it and I'm going to see where in this I want to work. And I'm thinking we're almost smack dab in the middle because there's a little bit of like grass and stuff like that. It's not too hilly, and I think this will be a good area right here to build out our actual project. All right, so now that we have our stuff in here, we have everything we should need from the store, we're simply going to get to work. So first hit Control, Shift, and Save, so everything is saved up to this point. And now let's start by adding plugins. We're going to go up here to Edit, Plugin menu, and you're going to type in 3D, and you're going to see Text 3D here. Go ahead and check that for me. You're going to get a warning. Click Yes on the warning. Don't click Restart yet, because we're actually going to need another one, and it's going to call Movie Render. And we're going to need this at the end, but they both make us restart, so we're going to check that and click Restart now, and I'll see you when the restart finishes. All right, my restart is finished, so we're going to go ahead and exit out of this now, and to start off, we're going to make our 3D text. So come up to here, the plus sign with the cube, it's our quick add menu. Click on this and just type in text in the search bar there, and you're going to see text 3D right there. Click on that, and you're going to get a new item in your inspector, and this one is going to be named text built. You can name yours whatever you want. That is the name I'm going to make for mine, and you'll see why in a second. And if I hit F right now with it selected, it should jump over to it, and there it is. It's at the center of the map, or at the center of the world, which my map is not at the center of the world. So we're just going to pull it over here right now, something like that. And now from here, we're going to go ahead and turn it to flatten it out, and 90 should be flat. Go ahead and put it over here. Now, there's a couple things about this that we're going to do, and a lot of this work is going to happen over here in the details panel. Real quick, I'm just going to move my camera out of the way because I'm convinced I've already blocked things. You've seen that. Oof, when I copy and pasted, it was in here, paste. I hope you figured that part out. So, okay. With the text selected, in the details panel over here, the first thing I want to show you guys is right here under text where it says text and then third, the word text again. I'm going to change this to the word built because that is what the text you want or you want to input goes. Excuse me. The font I'm going to use is promote. You're welcome to scroll through there and find one you want going like this. I'm just going to search the word promote because I know that's the font I want. Click that and I want to make it bold, which is the typeface underneath, and I want to force capital letters. Now, this is the font I picked. The reason I picked this font is A, I like it. All my YouTube video titles are in it already, and this is the font that Arc Raiders is made with. This is the font used for like the name of the maps and stuff like that. All right, so I'm pretty cool with this. The only thing I'm not cool with right now is how thick it is. So we're going to scroll down here till we find extrude right there, and it's set at 5. We're going to set it up to 15 to make it thicker. The reason I want it thicker is because from the front, it'll look more 3D. All right, so now let's go back to the front. And as you can see, it's much thicker now, so it'll look more 3D, like I said. In addition to that, we're going to go ahead and change the horizontal alignment to the middle and the vertical alignment to the middle. And as you can see, my gizmo is now in the center of it instead of on one of the edges. And that's more what I'm looking for. I'm trying to make sure I have a good spot real quick. I'm just going to double check to make sure this is the area I want to work, because up here does look pretty convincing. I'm not going to lie. Let's slide that up there. Let's see what we got. You know what? Maybe we work right here a little bit and see how it is. If we hate it, it is what it is, right? We can always manually build our own if we want to, but that sounds crazy. If you're having trouble like I am trying to get it right where you want it, go ahead and go like this. Now, I already see an issue we're going to have. See how it's kind of clipping in? It's because this ground isn't flat. So I'm going to show you guys something that I'm actually covering in the next video real quick, but we're going to do it really, really fast. Up here in the select menu, I'm going to switch over to landscape mode. And when you switch to landscape mode, you're going to get this new menu over here on the side. You're probably on manage. Go ahead and shift to sculpt and go ahead and go to flatten right here. And these are going to be the default numbers. Yours should be the same, but you can slide it if you want to make the brush bigger or stronger, what it is. And then when you mouse over this, see how I get this little crosshair? Wherever I am on the map, where that crosshair is, it's going to flatten everything to that level. So I'm just going to back up a little bit so you can see what I'm saying. Okay, see? So this hill, we're going to say goodbye to this hill right now. Boop. Okay, and I don't got to go too crazy because we're only using a little area here. And honestly, that should be good enough. I'm just going to go back to selection mode and back to text like we were doing, and that'll work right there. Now, I'm pretty happy with this. I kind of want that to be in this a little bit. Reason is it is a 3D space, so I think the shadows and stuff from that will help. All right, so we're happy with the word built. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Alt, click this arrow, and I'm going to drag it. Then I'm going to hold Alt and click this arrow, and I'm going to drag it a third time. Now I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to come to the text column here. I'm going to name this the built by, and then finally the last one here will be mobs. And good. Now I'm just going to line them up and decide to get them where I want them. I think this is a pretty good area right here, like I said. So let's just kind of bring this all together, something like that. Get the word mobs in there. Something like that'll probably work pretty good. Yeah. So cool, we have this in here. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-S. That saves everything. Our text is in, and we are officially ready to add a material to it. So I'm going to go Content, Create New, right? Ooh, whoa. Let's not do that. Let's just delete that. Didn't mean to create it. Sorry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to right-click in the Open here, Create New Folder, Materials Folder. All right, and we're going to open up this Materials folder. And from here, we're going to right-click, and we're going to go to Create New Material. And we're going to name this M_text built. And the reason I'm naming that is M_ is very standard for Unreal Engine. I like to put the word text in case I have a bunch of them. I know all the text ones are together, and then the final word is the word it's assigned to, so it just makes life a little easier. Okay, so now I'm going to double click to open that up right there, and I'm simply going to change the color. I'm not going to go into these graphs. We're just going to be changing the color, and I want something that's going to kind of pop off of green, right? I personally love like neon colors, like purples, greens, stuff like that for this. So I'm going to see how like a purple will play out in this situation. Something probably right around here. We're going to try that, all right? And then from there, I'm going to change the metallic to 1, and I'm going to change the roughness to 0, and that'll make this very shiny, as you can see. Cool. Apply, save that, and now we're going to come over here. Now, The way I'm going to assign this is I'm going to assign it to the built and by. And what I'm going to do is on this details panel, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here until I find materials and see how it's set to solid. We're going to set it to custom. And now you have a bunch of material slots and you can come in here and click them, or you can just drag and drop like I'm going to do right now. And look at that. It changes right away in real time. Cool. And I'm going to do the same thing to buy here, material slot, custom, and I'm just going to drag this in. And again, I may not keep these materials, but for now, this is what I'm going to use. Now, I actually think that I like that color quite a bit. Now, what do I do with this? I want it to be a different color, and I could simply play around like I was just doing, but I'm going to show you guys something that I think a lot of people do that other users don't realize, and that is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, you don't got to know everything. So what I did was I simply Googled colors that flow but pop off of green grass. Okay. And I read this, right? Okay, cool, whatever. But then I also went in here and I looked at this and I was like, oh, these look great off of this. And I was like, I really like this color. So maybe a dark color is the option, right? Or a cream next to this doesn't look too bad. And I started looking at different options. And what I ended up doing was just right clicking and saving some of these photos. So now watch this. I'm going to go inside my own computer here, go to my downloads folder, and here they are. They're right here. So I know I'm going to want to try that green out. So I'm just going to drag this in and it's going to make it a texture file. I'm never going to use it as a texture, but what I want to show you what I'm going to do. Now I'm still in my materials folder. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to materials, M_text. And this one's going to be MOBs. Okay. And we're going to open this texture up. And this time I'm going to hit Control Space to bring up my content drawer. And I'm going to go into that materials folder. And there's that texture file we were talking about, right? So now when I click base color, instead of trying to figure it out, I'm just going to click the dropper and I'm like, man, I really like this color. Well, let's see if we like it in this. And there it is, right? So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to change the roughness down to 0 again, and I'm going to change this down to 1. There's ways to do this where you add constants, and somebody's going to complain that does this, that I didn't add constants. It's not that deep, bro. So we're going to click apply, and then we're going to click save here, and we're going to come back here, and now we're just going to do the same thing to MOPs. We're going to go to custom, and we're going to drag these in just like this. And cool. I actually think this looks pretty good personally. Now, I'm going to leave the colors as they are. I'm trying to play with the camera a little bit to see what I like. I think I like it a little bit better down here. Now, but before I do anything else, I just want to bring some of you guys' attention. Let's say you're like, man, the colors just aren't right. They look a little different. And it's true. These look different here than here. And this one looks different here than it does out here. And I'm going to show you why. It's because of lighting. So the directional light you see in your items here in your outliner, that's your sun. Okay, so let's go look at the details. Then I'm going to scroll up and see where it says intensity. It comes at default at 6, I think, right? Well, this one does. Default is 10. Woo, that's crazy. I'm going to set mine to 2 and check that out. Look how much more moody it is. I really like that. And then this right here, this green line under rotation, that's going to be your y-axis. If you click and drag, it'll move it. So it kind of sets time of day. Does that make sense? Like this all the way around to something like this. So I'm just going to play with mine a little bit and try to get it where I want it. And I think I actually like it somewhere right around here. No, not quite there. Maybe right in here somewhere. I'm looking more at the grass than the letters. Let's try that right there. Because the next thing I'm going to show you guys real quick is going to be your skylight. The best way I can describe skylight for this context where you'll understand is it determines how much shadow or how much light is in a shadow. Okay. So this intensity right here, we're going to change this to 2. And if you notice, it kind of brings everything up. I'm actually not a fan of that. Let's go 0.5. There we go. I think that looks much nicer, right? So we're going to move forward with this. It's a little warmer than I like, to be honest with you. So what if we made this cold? And I don't know if this is going to work. Like I said, you're just going to play a little bit and see what you can get. Okay, I think I like it somewhere around there. But to be honest with you, I think the change can just come from here. Let's go to this light. Let's make this one a little colder, shall we? There we go. Yeah, now we're cooking a little bit. Let's go to blue here. Let's go into the blues here a little bit. So that's going to be too dark. Maybe we just leave it how it was. That's good enough for this. It looks good to me. All right, cool. So letters are looking good. Now let's set a couple props in here. And like I said, we have our props right here. It's going to be the Melee folder I have right here. Yours is going to be whatever yours is. This has a bunch of stuff in it. I kind of already know some of the things about this. So I'm just going to pull the ones out I want so we're not combing through a bunch of files together, taking up useless time. All right, so I'm going to pull this one out because it should, if I'm correct, be a mall. Okay, there it is. This naming convention, I'm not a huge fan of, but that's all right. So we're going to use the mall today. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what this one is. It's a sword. We do want a sword. I don't really care for this sword. I don't think, though. Let's, in case you want to get rid of like that thing so you can see it, you just go like that. All right. Oh, just like that. I said, you hit G. G gets rid of that in case you have something similar going on your screen that you're not really sure what to do about. So I'm just trying to pull them out a little bit. I like that one a little bit more here. Yeah, we could probably use that one with it a little bit. All right, so let's do that. And then let's go over here. I just want to check one more. These should all be swords, right? Let's see what this one looks like. This one looks badass, but I don't think it'll match our feng shui, so to say, you know? All right, and then what's down here on this end? I'm looking for something long for the other side. Probably not that. What about this? What is that going to be? Is that another maul? Looks like it. Yeah, we already got a maul. What about 6? What's 6? 6 looks like it could be long. It's going to be a battle axe. What's 12? No, it's much easier to see them out here because I'm just looking at the shapes now. 10. Oh, that's the ticket right there. I like that one quite a bit. All right, so we're going to use all 3 of these. Let's pull this up. Let's bring it in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you something real quick. Let's just say this is, I don't know, down there, right? Like I need it over here. It's way over there. The quickest way I find to do this is I'm going to click on the buy right here and see where it's a location. If I mouse over, if I right click, it'll say copy and paste, shift, right mouse button, paste is left mouse button. So if I just hold down shift and right mouse button, see how it flashed and highlighted? And then I come into the menu here and I'm like, which one is it? It's not that one that highlighted that. It's not that one that highlighted that, which means tells me it's this one, right? And now I shift left click, it's going to snap it to where the exact location that is. And now it's good to go. It's on my screen, which is cool. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drag this up. I'm going to drag this over here and I'm going to rotate it something like this is how I'm thinking, something like that. I'm going to actually flip this upside down. Something like that. And let's just move this here. Let's rotate it a little bit more. And this is all we're going to do. We're going to end up playing with it till we get things right. I'm going to fast forward through this. And once I'm happy with how they are, we'll move on. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with things are right now. One thing I do want to do is I'm going to go up into edit here and I'm going to go to project settings and I'm going to type in auto EXP and I'm going to turn off auto exposure and I'm just going to click this to manual real quick. And 1, I don't know, I feel like the bias should be 0. Maybe it's 1. I can't totally remember, but let's see what happens here. If this is going to adjust at all or if I'm going to have to do it myself. Now let's turn these lights up a little bit. Okay, that's what I thought. We were dealing with a lot of auto exposure. So that's why everything was kind of messed up. We're just going to start messing with this to see where we can get it now. To see if we can get it where we want it at. Let's try 100. All right, that should help with the issue of it. If yours is dimming and undimming and stuff, kind of like mine was, that was why I was causing it. So I think we're pretty good right about there. I think I'm happy with that. Now, I'm going to adjust this a little bit, but if I pull it right out, see how it snaps? If you guys are running into that, see these right here? Just turn them off. This snaps the grid. So now I can move it, slide it, glide it along where I want it. And I want it in the middle of the B, kind of right there, which means these are all going to have to get adjusted a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to move these something like that. And I'm pretty happy with how this looks right now. I think it's going to come together pretty nice. Let's pull this down a little bit, actually. Let's just go like this and like this. Something right along there like that. I'm not sure how far out I want it to be. Maybe there. I'm not totally sure. We'll have to play with that as we get along here. Kind of maybe center it a little bit, or maybe we'll come down a little bit, something like this. Or maybe we'll have something fancy where it comes across. You know, like that doesn't look too bad either. Something like that. But if we do that, we got to worry about out there. So just something to think about. So, but I think that looks like a pretty sick little angle right there. Honestly, we might run that. So, all right, this is what we're going to do from here. Everything's good. I'm happy with everything. Go back to the content drawer. We got our props all in. The only prop we don't have in is going to be, well, there's going to be 2. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click and we're going to click on the level sequence. And you can name this anything you want. I'm just going to name mine actions, right? And I'm going to go ahead and open actions. This is going to be the only level sequence. So don't worry, we only have one. If you've never used a sequencer before, it's essentially you've just created a timeline that you find in like DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro, Final Cut, whatever. It's just a video editing timeline is the best way I can describe what we've just created. So inside the sequencer, now we're going to go to the top here, that quick add button. We're going to click on that cinematic and we're going to go to Cin Camera Actor. Click on that. I like to hit F2 and rename them right away. I'm going to name this Cam 1. That way I know a name if I need to find it. And this right here is a like a preview of what cam 1 is currently looking at. It's just looking out into space, and that's totally fine. The reason I say this, when I pull cam 1 into the sequencer, it's going to snap the main screen to that little preview. And now when I drive around, you will see that I am actually moving cam 1 itself. So what I'm doing right now is actually the final shot we'll use to render from. So it's important you set this one where you want it at. So I was thinking about doing something like this, and don't worry about the blurriness. We'll fix that in a minute. Just kind of look past that. But just for the sake of like traditional simpleness for this, I think I'm just going to go ahead and go right here for you guys can learn. And if you want to do fancy camera angles, at least you've seen that it is possible from over there. And I think, yeah, right about right here is good. So I'm just going to bring this into focus by turning the manual focus down. There we go. And that's too far. So somewhere right around there is probably a pretty good spot. I don't like how flat this is looking right now. I think it looks kind of shitty, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to try to adjust a little bit to make it look a little bit more vibrant. But at the end of the day, I might have to change this material a little bit because it's a green material. So what if we come in here? It's a teal material. Okay, what if we just make it a little lighter, huh? What if we try that out? And let's just go save, apply. And that's just from changing the other stuff, right? Still not quite what I'm looking for, but I think I'm just going to leave it for the sake of the video and let's move along. Okay, so we're in the sequencer. Everything's good. The way you can tell if you're controlling your camera or if you're in free look is underneath my head. It'll say cam 1 or perspective camera. But aside from that, down here, see where this little blue is? That means I'm controlling camera 1. When I click this off, it'll snap me back into perspective and I can move around any way I please. If I click on it again, it snaps you back to that camera, just so you guys get an idea of how it kind of works. And I'm truly not sure if I want to be, how close I want to be. You know, I kind of like further out more than I originally thought I was going to. So we might just hang out right about here, to be honest with you, and see how that is. Yeah, we'll just go with right about here. I'm going to adjust this again one more time. Again, you don't have to do this. I just don't like staring at a blurry stuff there. All right, cool. So our camera's good. We are going to keep controlling it for now. But the next things I want to start doing is I want this animated and both of these words animated. So let's go ahead and start with the word. So I'm going to drag built into my sequencer here, and I'm going to click this plus sign on the text built, and I'm going to add an attachment. Okay. Real quick, this right here makes it so auto keys. I like to use it on. Some people like it off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And then, so what I want is at frame 10, you can see what frame you're on by next to the red there. I am going to go ahead and click on location, and I want this to be my location. Actually, you know what? I want everything to be done right here, okay? And then at frame 1, I actually want this. We're going to open this location, and I want it to be off the screen. And in theory, this is the screen, right? So I'm just going to zip this all the way over here from frame 0. So it should just rip right across now. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, I never renamed these. Let's take a second and do that before we go any further. So I'm going to take text 2. I'm going to name this build by, and then I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to name this build, or I'm sorry, text mobs. That way we know which one we're clicked on. So I'm going to go text by now. I'm going to pull this down, click the plus sign, click transform again. Again, I want it at frame 10. We're on frame 10, all sitting right there. At frame 0, I also want this one off the screen. So we're going to come here, go to location, X, and we're going to go the other way till it's gone. And there, it's gone now. So now we're just going to go like that and see how they slide in. And we're already got a little animation starting to form here. Okay. Now we're going to take this a step further to make it just look a little bit nicer. Let's go back into built real quick. And at frame 8, so if we are going up or down? So we're going down, if that makes sense. If you're looking here under X, here we're at like 300. And as we get further, it's counting down, right? So we are ending at 251. That means let's go to frame 8 and let's make this 251. So let's say 245 maybe. No, that might be not enough. Oh, it's negative 240. Okay. 240. Okay, yeah. So it's almost hitting this. Perfect. All right. So now when it comes in, it's going to kind of go that way and bounce back. All right. So that's cool. So now let's bring this down and let's do the same thing to buy, and it should be the opposite direction. All right. So this one is counting up. Yep. Okay. So it's at 96 here. So we need to go a little higher. Let's go back 2 frames on this one. And I'm just going to slide this one just to get a better idea. Oof. I actually think built needs to go back a little bit. I think it went a little too far, but let's find out. So yeah, see how it's a little too noticeable compared to the other one, how far it's bouncing. So that's fine. This is just the game. We're going to come here. We're going to take this. We're going to click on it. We're going to click on it. We're just going to pull it out just a little bit there. So now, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. It still bounces a little bit more, but you know what people are going to know about that is me, you, and everybody that watches this video. There we go. So now we're going from 56 to... Yep, okay, that little bounce is what I was looking for. Now, just to take this one step further, I'm going to squash it a little bit because it's going to hit and bounce back. So in theory, if an item in real life were to hit and bounce back, it gets squashed, right? So, oops, we're going to squash it amongst the x-axis, JK, along the y-axis here. All right, and we're not going to squash it far. We're going to go 0.95. It's nothing crazy here, right? Perfect. That sounds great. So now when it comes in, it's going to have that little squash, and no one's going to know when it's moving, and then it flattens, it straightens back out, right? Cool. Right here, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to come down to the scale, and we're going to go to y-axis, and we're going to go 0.95 on you as well. So now when they come in, boom, just like that, good to go, and we are going to be done with letters. We're going to leave mobs there stationary the whole time. Now let's go ahead and do the sword. Okay, so the sword is kind of going to be more of the same. Let me move my head off the screen at least. All right, so the sword is going to kind of be more of the same. It's right here. Which one is it? It's going to be this one right here. Let's collapse these all down. We're going to take the sword and we're going to drag it into the sequencer here. That's a terrible name, but that's just what it is. And then we're going to click transform on that. Again, plus side transform, and now we have transforms for the sword. So I want the sword to land at a different time than the letters. So we're going to try 13 after, and we're going to click submit on that. So that's where we want it to be. But at level 0, I don't want it anywhere near here. I want it all the way up there. So then it comes down, boom, just something like that. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. So to add a little more flair, so it's not so one-dimensional, right? We're going to make it so the sword twists. So let's go ahead and look at rotation here. And I actually want this one all the way back at 0 because I want you to rotate for a very, very long time. So let's go all the way to 90 here. And we're going to change this over the course of this all the way around and around we go. What is 720 looking like here? 720 is not quite the right angle, so let's just keep going around. And I think it's 810 is technically next, right? Whatever, something like that, 820. It's definitely not 820. But, okay, yeah, I actually do like that. What I don't like is if you see, the sword is starting slow and going fast, and then it slows down again, right? Like, and then it speeds up, and now it's twisting slow. Okay, so what that is an easy in, easy out, and it's added by default. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the yaw here in this graph, right? And there it is, okay? See how it has an S curve? That's like slowly in and speed and then slowly back out. It's awesome and used for a lot of things. I don't want it on this. So I'm gonna highlight both of them, and I'm just gonna click 4, and it'll snap it so it's straight. So now when I click this, you'll see it's spinning the consistent speed the entire time. So cool. I'm actually very good with that being like that. I think that all looks great. Let's move right along to the next part. And I think for the next part, I'm going to go ahead and add some what's it called? Some particles around. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to go to the Niagara system. I'm going to add a Niagara system, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use hanging particles. But real quick, people have asked me a lot of times in the comments how to make the confetti burst. Peanut does. It's right there. But anyways, hanging particles. All right. So you can name this whatever you want. There is a naming like convention for these. This is not it. So, and I can't remember what it is. I just know it's 3 letters. So we're just gonna name it that. I'm gonna double click to open it real quick. And they're just hanging out. You can see them right there. You get a little example, right? So I'm gonna change some stuff on these right away. It's gonna be an infinite loop. I'm fine with that. I think I'm okay with 50 spawning. Lifetime is gonna be random. We're gonna make this 1 to 10 is how long they last. I'm fine with that. That's cool right there. And then direct color set, we should, what color should we make them? We have vibrant color, so they should probably be vibrant as well. So we'll go with something like that. I'm cool with that for a color. Random uniform. I want random not uniform for the size. So we're gonna go anywhere from like 1 to 10 and 1 to 10. Let's see how that works. 10 might be too big, but we'll see once we get out there. And I think I'm okay with the rest of this. Honestly, a sprite would go a long way, but I'm not gonna download a sprite, make a sprite, or ask you guys to do that. So we're just gonna I didn't mention that, right? Wind speed of 5, let's do that. Let's change this to 5 as well. And we're just gonna play with it. See how they're kind of moving around now? So let's maybe make this 2. How's that look? I don't know. Let's just take a look. Let's just save it and let's go in here. And we're just gonna take this and we're gonna toss it right here, right? And ignore the orange, that's just kind of it clicked. So now we're gonna look around, and that's just too many, right? It's just too many of them. So let's reduce the amount that are coming in. let's go spawn rate right here. We're at 50. Let's just try 25. Let's see how that looks real quick for us. Save, and let's come back in here, and it's still there. And I think that looks a little better because you're going to see them with everything else going on, but they won't be taking over your life. So I think we're actually okay right there. I do think 10's a little big though, so we're going to go ahead and change that as well. I do know where size is on this. This is just a guess in the dark. It's right here, right? No, this is the box size they can be in, I believe, right? Yeah, that's how many can spawn in a given area, if I'm not mistaken. So actually, honestly, this may be a solution too, but it's fine. We're just going to go like this. And I think what I'm looking for is right here, sprite size. We're going to boom this down to 7. That way there's no crazy big ones. Save. And we're just going to call that good. I'm not the best at this system. I very sparingly use it. So we're going to call that a win and move it along. All right. So now we have this, we have that coming in. We're going to add 2 more things, and we're going to try to do them on the fly here. The next one is going to be a rect light is what they call it. It's actually a rectangle light. But if you go into right here, the quick add with the plus sign, click that, go down to lights, and then it's really called rect light. It just stands for rectangle light, which is going to be right there. I'm going to uncheck this blue so I can move around and find it because it should be, yep, all the way over there. So let's pull that into our scene, something like so, right? All right, cool. That looks pretty good. Let's move it up a little bit there. Now let's snap back into this real quick. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it into the sequencer here. Cool. So what I want done with this, first off, I want to go to here and I want to figure out where the heck this thing's at, right? So this is left to right, and there it is. See how it's reflecting? That's actually exactly what I'm looking for. If I can find it, let's go about right there. Now it becomes how bright do you want it? Because I'm going to have it go across just like that. And interestingly enough, it stops getting on top of those right there. Huh. Very interesting. Let me turn this off real quick and let's take a little look at our light and see. Oh no, hold on. Can I go back to that? I can't. Darn it. All right, that's fine. We're going to have to manually go back in, and that's why you want to make sure you unclick this every time. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go something like this. Yep, I'm pretty cool with that. I'm trying to see if I like a different angle since I just moved it anyway. So we might be going down a little bit, honestly, because straight on I think is okay, but I think it might look better a little lower. We'll live and see. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so let's just back this up a little bit. How far back do we want to be? Probably about right here looks pretty good. I think this needs to be adjusted. I know this is really random and not what we're here to do right now, but that's just kind of how my brain works. Nope, definitely doesn't need that if it's going to be adjusted. It's not by tens. Okay, maybe about right there. I'm not really sure what to do with this. I like it, but it's just not quite doing what I want it to do. Alrighty, so now let's look at this light real quick. What's going on with this light that it is doing that? So let's just click in here real quick, and it seems to be okay. Let's just drag it across ourselves. Good, 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 good. Why are you disappearing right there? Let's just give you a turn. Okay, there's the issue. It's facing the wrong way. So it looks like if we go like this, boop, let's just go like this, -90, boom. Now we're cooking, okay. And I just wanted to make sure I figured that out. I kind of thought that's what it was, but I wanted to show you guys, that way you have an idea. And now look at, boop, it goes all the way across. Excellent, let's go back in here. So I don't want it that big, so we're gonna go inside the rec here, whatever you wanna do, and we're gonna go into the details panel all the way down in here, and we are gonna change a couple things. One, I don't need it this bright, right? Like I just don't, straight up. And then we're gonna do a couple things. Source width, this is like the beam, see how long the beam is? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this down a little bit so I can see the whole thing left to right. And let's just, well, let's not do that. Let's bring this down like, what do you think? About right there. Source height, probably about the size of the letter. That'd be cool. And then, okay, now let's just drag it from, oh, let's not do that. Let's drag it from here. Let's just go, does it affect? Boom, 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 boom. So it is a little bit of an effect, but I actually don't hate it as it comes across. It just adds a nice little touch, right? So here you can't see it on anything and you can't see it till it's there. So what we're gonna do is at frame 9, because at 8 they're moving, right? At 10 they're getting settled. So at frame 9, I want it just off, okay? So we're gonna go to the right here. We're gonna do a transform path, which we just added, and all right, and then we're gonna do, yep, that's where I want you. And then I want you to come all the way across, and I don't think this is gonna last that long, right? Probably, let's say, let's get a look, boom. We're going to say it's going to last 80 frames total, right? So that means by like 70, I need this to be done, okay? So what we're going to do is go in the transform here, location, and we're just going to slide you across here. boom, to about right there. And that should be a cool little effect, just like that. See, and that's as easy as it is. Cool. Now we could almost be done at this point, but we're going to add just one more thing, and then we're doing sound, rendering, done. Bear with me, guys. All right, so the last thing I'm going to add here is actually the Peon I have, because I think he's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the content browser here, and I'm going to make a new folder, because he's going to bring a lot of stuff in with him, because he's a whole character, right? So you obviously won't have this, and if you guys have followed me for a little bit, you know, I made this Peon myself, or I shouldn't say I modeled it myself, but I animated it myself. So I just kind of wanted to add them into this just for my own fun personal touch, right? So I clicked and dragged, it gave me this menu. Defaults are usually fine. I'm sure they'll be fine for this because I know what he's got going on. And there he is. That's the guy we're looking for right there. Cool. This animation sequence, boop, look at him. There he is. He's way too big. So let's just scale him way, way down here. And I think I'm going to sit him on top of the O if I can here. Maybe inside the O. I'm not totally sure. Let's see on top how he looks here. He looks pretty good, but let's run this through. Yeah, I actually do like him sitting on top of the O. Cool. So what we're going to do with him on top of the O is, where's he at? He is right here. This is a terrible name, by the way, but it's all right. I know which one it is. So we're just going to pull him in there, and then we're going to click open this up, and you see how it has an animation option? We're going to click on this, and I'm going to click turn fast animation, because I know what that animation is. I made it, and it's him turning to the right. So what I want is him to turn to the right as that hits. So that hits right around what? Boom, right around there, right around frame 9 is when it hits. So that's when I want him to start turning. I don't want him to be turned. I just want him to start. I'm looking for his shoulder right there. So let's just go. I'm going to have to move him a little bit, but we'll worry about that in a second. So frame 9, not quite it. Let's just bring it a couple of, nice, well, 3 more. It's too early there. I hit back real quick so we can just get a better look. Ooh, let's not do that. Let's go here. Okay, we're sitting. Okay, let me see this. Let's just bring it 2 frames. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. And I think that'll be okay for what we're doing here, because people would have to really pay attention in order to notice it's off a little bit. So we're just going to move him a little bit so he fits a little better. His hand isn't just floating. He's probably inside this a little bit too much, to be totally honest with you. Let's take a little peek, but I think that's okay. Yeah, he is inside it. That's kind of what I thought, but no one's ever going to notice that. Let's just see if we can't bring him out of it and see how he looks when he's sitting on it correctly. But I'm more concerned about the hand than him sitting correctly at this point, because he'd have to be all the way over here. Or I could move him to the E, but then everything's kind of focal in one area. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep him right here, and we're just going to kind of cheese it a little bit, because this is our camera angle, so no one's going to notice anyway other than us. So let's go ahead and do that. You know what? Look at now, it's heads in the way. We're just going to pull him into it more just like that, because I don't think anyone's going to notice. Like we said, let's back it up to where do we have him at prior? Somewhere right around there. No, his head's in there. There we go. That's where he was prior. Okay. I think that's going to be okay right there. And that's going to be it. Let's do sound, render out, and see what we got. For sound, I'm just going to use stuff I already have on my computer. So I'm going to use a fast swoosh and then a long sound. This is going to be the entrance. This is going to be the exit. To add them, I'm just going to drag them into my content drawer just like that. No big deal there. It's going to ask, do you want to? Yes. Yeah, I want a template for it. That's no big deal. And it's going to add them both right here, fast swish and slice sound. From there, I'm going to go back to the sequencer here, and I'm going to click on the add button right here in the sequencer, and we're going to go audio track. Yes, I want to use an audio track, and then we'll go ahead and collapse this down because I'm done with all that. And it's going to be right here. And from here, I'm going to click add, and it's going to ask what you want. So I know mine was called slice, right? The slice sound effect right there. There it is. And it added it where this was, which is admittedly my mistake. So we're just going to pull it down and try to line it up. So this sound here, I'll let you hear it. It's going to be this, right? And it kind of fades out. So I kind of want it to hit right as these smash, right? Boom. That's where I want the apex to be. So it's almost, it might be there. It's very, very close, just by chance. We got very lucky there. Let's just add a second on it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's add one more second. See, we're just going to play the game. So I feel like that one's off a little bit, so we're going to take back a second. I think that's pretty good. Excellent. Now, to leave this animation, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out, right? And I was going to zoom out over 5 seconds, but I think we're going to zoom out over more than 5 seconds. So where does this animation stop at? Right there. So right there's where it stops. I might have to extend it, but we're going to start at about, we'll start at what, 75 to 80. Let's try 75, right? So we're here till 75, then we leave. So now we're going to add another sound effect, swoosh. And this is going to be a fast swish sound effect. Oh, it's right there. I didn't mean to add two of them. And I'm going to drag this onto the same line. I'm going to shorten this up. Ooh, let's not do that. I'm going to shorten this up, which is this first sound effect. And I'm just going to kind of drag them into each other. And see how there's a little cross there? That's them blending together, in case you're wondering. So you can just extend it out and make it as much blend as you want. So let's see what we got now. So I think that'll work pretty well. I don't want to do that, that's for sure. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pull it back a little bit. I think what needs to happen is not so much us pulling it back. This needs to extend in further. There we go. That'll be better. Because I know you're like, well, it doesn't look match. I'll show you how it's going to match, right? Okay, so this starts what? About right there. Say 82, and it goes to what? 92, it's 10 frames. Okay, so at 82, what we're gonna do is we're going to come into camera itself here. And this is now where we decide, is this for sure, absolutely, unquestionably the angle we are gonna use this camera at? Because we are going to start editing it. So we need to decide that right now. Okay, so I do like this. Let's just look at some other options real quick, right? Like, do we want to use it over here and just make minor adjustments and things? Like, I could just slide those out further, right? I don't think it has quite the punch right there. What if it was zoomed in over here, something like this? Doesn't look bad. It looks much more 3D from these sides. Let's try over here. Okay, so all these would work, but the reason I'm not going to do them is because they're going to require a lot more work and this video is going to get too long. So let's just move it back to about centered, which is right around here, right about there. We'll go down a little bit on it. That way you can see some 3D still. So let's do this. Okay, so that's going to mess up my light. So let's bring it up a little bit. Something about right there might work pretty well. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so overall, I'm happy with this, but my light is off now. You see how it's not covering everything? So all we're going to do is, before we do this, we're going to fix the light real quick, which is kind of a pain, but that's showbiz, baby. Let's go into transform for the light, and it's this first one. I actually need it to be higher. Location right about there. So now, so I don't see how it's kind of messed up. Like, it's coming in like that, which you couldn't see before. You couldn't notice that. So what we're going to do is, that's where it starts is 9. These need to change because it should start at 10. Ugh, this is kind of a pain. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do this quickly. Let's move it over here, right? So let's just say it's right over there, and then on 10, it's coming across, and now it's going to hit these, right? Okay. And now, okay, we're good. Perfect. We don't move anything else. That's all good. Now, camera transformations. This is when I said this is important. Now we're going to do transform and scale location, everything on the camera from this angle right now. So cool. And then where's it end at? We're starting our exit here, right there at 82. So we are here at 82, but then by 92, we are going to go for a ride. So let's take this and let's go, not like that. Let's go in. Yep. In. And it's going to be up. And then I think it needs to be this way a little bit. Okay. And then in more. Boom, boom. Not all the way to right there. There. Okay. So let's see how this plays out now. Okay, that'll work. So now we're going to take this, we're going to shorten it down to the end, which is frame 92. We're going to change in the corner, so it's exactly 92 frames long. We're going to start, it's starting way out here at something. We're going to start it at 0, 0, 0. Okay, and let's go ahead and zoom this to like that. So What's going on here? Why is it doing this big thingamabob here? Yeah, this big has bit. It starts. I wanted to start at frame 0. I don't know why it wants to be all difficult with me, but that's fine. Let's just go 0, 0, 0. Let's keep zeroing everything out. There we go. All right, it's exactly 92 frames long. Cool. I'm good with that. I kind of wish he wasn't so bright, but again, that's just semantics. We're not going to be worrying about that right now. So we're done. Let's go ahead and finish this. We're going to click the 3 buttons right here, go to movie render. We're going to click on movie render. We're going to render this, and this is our action sequence. Click on actions, unsaved config. Open this up for me. Disable JPEG, go into settings, enable MP4, go to MP4 for me, go into settings again, go to anti-alias, make sure that's enabled. Then we're gonna go to temporal settings. We're gonna set this to 32. We're gonna override the anti-alias. I'm gonna put this down to multi-sample. We're going to go into output, the output directory right here, these 3 dots. This is where it will be saved at. I'm going to save mine to the desktop for now. I'm going to keep mine this. You can set it to whatever you want. That's fine with me. I'm going to do a custom frame rate for this. I'm going to do 23. I just like this one better. It's essentially the same thing. And then we're going to do all that. And I'm going to hit accept, and I'm going to hit render local, and I will see you when it's done. All right, mine is done, which means we are almost done. Let me drag my OBS over to this screen here. And what we're going to need is at the bottom here where mine says move, yours probably says fade or something. We're going to go click on this right here, and we're going to add a stinger, right? We're going to add stinger, cool. And we're going to want a video file. Go to browse. Mine is on my desktop like we talked about right there. Here it is. Boom, that's it right there. We're going to use it by time. And I do want to monitor it because I want to see what the heck it is myself too. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the preview too much for you guys audio-wise. And yeah, that's good. Let's hit OK. And now let's have ourselves a moment of truth, shall we? And that's it. You can make it as long as you want. You can make it as short as you want. That one, admittedly, shorter than I thought it was going to be, but you get the idea. You can make it longer if you wanted it to. That's the whole video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging in there on this one.